put your motherfucking hands on me, you dead! Dead! You fake ass gangsters! I'm blowing this shit up! You motherfuckers. He assaulted me. Yup, and they put me in a hospital on an APAP. When I was assaulted at that barbershop over there they call Legends, over at Allure, he threatened to kill me, so I need to file a police report.
That Courtney Burgess was planted with this information on purpose to basically get the feds to turn their eye off of other people that are allegedly going to go down with Diddy. And the person that she called out was Jay-Z and the Carters. And then Courtney Burgess started acting really strange and multiple different times threw up these triangles while she was saying stuff like this.
You're all my witnesses. I'm lucid. I'm safe.
Jaguar, in addition to being harassed and bullied, Wright just survived a real assassination attempt. Wright was named Diddy's assistant in his Rico Empire Jay-Z record just days prior to this, thus the timing of the planned attack couldn't be more suspect. Perez Nady for Courtney Burgess. Clive Davis, according to Jag, some individuals, such as Alex Spiro, assisted in the years-long concealment of serious crimes.
I sent you a very real message, man. I said they're trying to unalive me again. Can you help? You never responded. You went just as ghost as Jussie Smollett did a week ago. But I'm starting to research you, Miss Kid. And so help me God, if I find you've had any legal dealings with Alex Spiro, you and I are going to have a
Jaguar has already drawn attention to misconduct in the sector. This time, however, was different because people began to appear where they weren't meant to after she connected Diddy's case to actual networks of enablers. Even her spouse was bribed to set her up, and her car was tampered with and her hotel was broken into.
Okay. Hold up.
But it gets messier because, according to Jaguar, this isn't even about Diddy anymore. She's naming powerful individuals and bigger fish who have close ties to more than just Diddy. Before we discuss who those people are, you should know that Jaguar didn't make these accusations in a quiet manner. Instead, she went live, looked directly into the camera, and said, "If anything happens to me, you know who did it." The question now is, did someone simply attempt to make that happen? Was this merely a scare tactic? Or did Jaguar prevent something far more sinister? More importantly, who are these individuals still speaking on Diddy's behalf today?
Had my lawyer serve the paperwork for my... Why am I waiting? I was in the hospital for 9 days. They put me in on an APAL. I had bruises. My thumb and my pinky was done from where they stood on my back with a handcuff.
Now, let's discuss what really happened. Jaguar Wright recently escaped a planned assassination attempt, and she claims that it is all related to those who shielded Diddy's illicit enterprise for many years.
Oh my goodness. Oh my son. Oh my son.
God,
they're all dead.
No,
they're all dead.
According to Jaguar, she saw a black SUV go by her Dallas hotel multiple times that day. Hours later, while she was returning to her hotel, she saw someone crouched close to her vehicle and tampering with the tires.
Dark back there. I had my key out. And I had my knuckles in my back pocket, my brass knuckles. And sure enough, he came out the dark as I was about to put my key in the door and go upstairs.
This man was attempting to make her car appear as though it had been in an accident, but Jaguar caught him in the act and they got into a fight.
Your boogeyman, I ran up on it, just started punching the shit out of him. Whooped his, just took his knife. I was like, you see this? Get him your knife! I was losing it. I was like, I swear to God, if I see you out of these streets, I'm...
Fortunately, Jaguar now understands how to defend herself, but she was still disturbed by the experience since she realized they weren't merely attempting to frighten her, they were attempting to kill her.
The thing is I'm prepared for what I'm prepared for. You know what I mean? I've had everything bad that pretty much a human being can go through.
Following this incident, Jaguar appeared live with Tokyo Tony, displaying various weapons she always carries. The woman is moving around as though she is in a combat zone, and it's true that it tracks.
Go spend some time with my godson before they try to kill me again. Oh my God, stop saying it. Don't put vampires. They've been trying to kill me.
Moreover, when Tokyo requested Jag to identify the individuals who have been attempting to murder her, Jag didn't hold back when she stated that there are 2 Carter Sean in Combs.
Let's do it in Chicago. Okay, the whole day. You know who the f*** talking about. Oh my God, I'm talking about the Seans. I'm talking about Sean Carter. Oh my God, Sean Carter.
After discussing how someone attempted to blow up her car, Jaguar even mentioned Beyonce, implying that she was also complicit in the attempted attack.
Somebody tried to blow up my car. I hope Beyonce falls and breaks her neck.
As you are all aware, Jaguar has been criticizing Diddy and Jay-Z for years. This is not news. She has accused him of everything from stealing from musicians to evicting numerous people.
Avon? Jacqueline Avon? Kim Porter? Albie Shore? Heavy D? Andre Harrell? Father MC Baby Mom? Big L? Biggie Smalls? Christopher Wallace? Pimp C? Aaliyah? Sweetheart, there are so many.
Because, as we all know, when Jaguar began warning people about Diddy, the industry promptly dismissed her as crazy.
First time you heard me say that Sean Combs was a sex trafficker, and you said I was a liar because I was jealous, because I wasn't his girlfriend, because I wasn't successful in the music industry, because I didn't have a hit record, because I didn't live in a mansion, because I didn't have diamonds. You said all of these things about me because I told the truth. You disgraced my name, my legacy, my family. You stalked, you hunted me. You harassed my friend.
However, this time is different because she hasn't just been targeting the machine's faces lately. Instead, she has been delving deeper and obtaining documents on a whole system of men and women who maintained Diddy and Jay-Z's empires untouchable for decades. Prior to the attempted hit, Jaguar revealed wealthy businessmen who established the Freakoff pipeline, which Jaguar claims was a front for something even more sinister. Other guys attended Diddy's events to bid on behalf of the victims, not simply for his own evil amusement.
To be models for music videos.
Oh, casting couch.
When they got to Miami, they had to show and turn over their ID, and they collected their passports. And then the next thing you know, they were in a storage container getting by a bunch of weird strangers on camera who were bidding for all of the terrible things that were happening to them live online.
However, Jaguar also targeted the middlemen, such as high-profile lawyers who cleaned up scenes and wrote non-disclosure agreements, and phony witnesses who gave victims advice on what to say. Prior to that attempt, 3 names kept appearing in Jaguar's videos. The Epstein list Desiree Perez, the CEO of Rock Nation with criminal history, and the billionaire investor Ron Burkle, whose name was in both Epstein's and Diddy's black books. The crazy thing is that no one is naming these individuals, so let's start with Jaguar. Ron Burkle is the godfather of all of Diddy's children, but he also frequently traveled on Jeffrey Epstein's notorious private jet, according to this investigative report by Unlimited Hangout titled One Label Under Blackmail. Most people are aware of Diddy's relationship with Clive Davis and how Clive helped Diddy create Bad Boy Entertainment, but hardly anyone mentions Ron Burkle, and according to Jaguar, that's on purpose. Burkle wasn't just any investor. He was one of Diddy's oldest and most devoted financial backers. In 2003, Burkle invested $100 million into Diddy's Shah John clothing line, and at the time, the media was referring to Burkle as Diddy's sugar daddy. The real question, however, is why Ron Burkle would invest $100 million in Diddy's clothing company, which at the time wasn't even making a profit. According to Jaguar, this is because Burkle wasn't investing in clothing, but rather in Diddy's blackmail scheme, and Jaguar asserts that Diddy was engaging in the same activities as Epstein, which included creating victims for his clients and obtaining leverage on behalf of those far more powerful than him.
Ended up on Epstein Island. They auditioned to be models for music videos.
Oh, casting couch.
When they got to Miami, they had to show and turn over their ID, and they collected their passports. And then the next thing you know, they were in a storage container getting by a bunch of weird strangers on camera who were bidding for all of the terrible things that were happening to them live online. After they made it through that, that's when they were sent to Rick Ross's music videos as groupies and extras to make sure that they could walk around in society.
Ron Burkle's name has been associated with a great deal of controversy over the years. For example, when his son Andrew Burkle was discovered dead in his Beverly Hills home in 2020, the family refused to explain what had happened. To make matters worse, Quincy Brown posted a tribute to Andrew on Instagram, revealing that he was supposed to have lunch with Diddy the next day. However, no one was discussing this until Jaguar brought it up, so Ron Burkle's team went on a digital cleanup spree, removing articles and social media mentions. As for Ron Burkle's current whereabouts, he maintains a low profile, but public records still show that he is active as co-founder of Ukeeper, sits on boards like Yahoo and Accidental, and co-owns the Pittsburgh Penguins. However, any mention of him in Epstein's Black Book or Diddy's Freakoff operations is being removed. This was discussed by Jaguar and a few other independent journalists, and a few weeks later, someone attempted to blow up Jag's car. However, there is another name that ought to be a scandal every time it is brought up, but for some reason, it is never. Desiree Perez, Jay-Z's right hand at Roc Nation and the gatekeeper of the industry. What is essentially never discussed in the mainstream media is that Desiree was a federal informant, and Jay-Z knew this when he appointed her president of Roc Nation. According to Jay-Z's old friend DeHaven, Desiree is the primary reason Jay-Z never runs afoul of the law.
Guarantee you the conversation with Emery, even when Emery came home and seen, you know what I'm saying? Then it just don't add up at some point. And then how's everybody going to jail but you?
And then when DeHaven was asked if Jay-Z would be the next to go down after Diddy, he said this will never happen because Jay and the people who brought Diddy down are all part of the same group.
Jaguar kind of alluded to Jay-Z may be next. What is your thoughts when you hear the world, like, they done took down Puff, they done took down all these other powerful black people. Jay-Z's like the lone standing powerful black man.
If you do the track wrestling on them, Jay is them people. If you do the history of most of the people that got in trouble in the industry, big trouble, who they went to for help? When Lil Wayne was in trouble, who did he go to? When Meek Mills was in trouble, who he go to? Meek Mills said it himself. Desiree helped me. You understand? So how could he be up next? You know what I'm saying? He is them people. They go to him when they got problems. But like I said, I think he is them. He has a relationship with them. You talking about a woman that had a relationship with the feds for 20-something years, right? When you working for them, you got an agent, your agent that's in charge of you. You think she don't have no relationships with over the years with all these agents that became retired and connected and this and that and the third till they just know shit? She got power. That's power over there. You know what I'm saying? Who you wanting one on your side? You got them on your side?
DeHaven then responded that Jay-Z would never fall after Diddy since he and the individuals that brought Diddy down all affiliated with the same group.
And interviewed her live.
So I was born in New York as a little baby, 9 months. My grandfather had to take over to raise me because my mother was incarcerated and dealing with the criminal justice system for the crimes that she committed in the early 90s.
How long has the relationship with your mom been strained at this point?
I haven't seen my mom since December 25th, 2023. That's the last time that I saw her physically. The last time I spoke to her was December 30th, 2023.
However, this is where Jaguar went much further than Haven. In addition to naming Desiree, she located the daughter Desiree left behind and conducted a live interview with her.
How do you know Sean Combs?
Generation
So, Frank Lucas was my godfather and his father. And then we both was in the music business for 30 years together.
So you personally know him, have
Not who, the whole person.
Sean Combs.
Not
Diddy.
personally.
But you know of him, he knows
I
of
know
you.
him, yeah. I used to be in Tupac, Hussein Fatal. He stopped a lot of my music. A lot of other people who didn't care about him. You understand? That's not around today.
You don't need a conspiracy board to see the connection between this live stream and someone's attempt to permanently silence Jaguar. She exposed one of the most powerful women in hip-hop through her own lineage, and days later, someone tries to kill Jaguar. If Jaguar is insane, why does she keep naming the right people? And here's another person she exposed. In an interview with TMZ, Courtney Burgess, the industry fixer who Jaguar claims was paid by Roc Nation to serve as a phony witness in Diddy's case, acknowledged that he had a copy of Kim Porter's true memoir, but that Jaguar had exposed him for having personal ties to Diddy. Courtney is the godson of Frank Lucas, the Harlem kingpin for whom Diddy's late father, Melvin Combs, worked. Despite this, Courtney maintained that he didn't know Diddy personally.
Slow down. Stop running your mouth so much.
I don't need to do anything but what I'm doing. And now we finally gotten to this point where you're warning me. Who are you warning me for, sir? You got a boss. Tell him I still got nuts right here. Your warnings, all of your warnings, let it go. Stop talking about people. Go back and tell your boss that I see.
Completely referring to someone else that was.
Do what you do. Dad. Do what you do.
Oh, I will. To the fullest.
Do what you do.
To the fullest. This changes nothing. Go back and tell your boss.
If Courtney's got a puppeteer and all that,
He got, I'm telling you, there's no way in the world he got the first hand anything. It was passed down, compiled by someone else. And like he's saying, he doesn't ever.
I'm not being funny, and I will just be honest. I did notice that myself. Of all the ways you could have positioned your hands, Courtney, that was the only way that you could have positioned them in a way that would have caused anything. And I'm going to be honest with you. I know
this is where things start to get strange. Following her criticism of him for lying, Courtney consented to join Jaguar on a live stream. However, during the interview, Courtney repeatedly displayed Jay-Z's Roc Nation hand sign watch.
Wright held nothing back, and she was calling out Courtney Burgess on doing this. She said, "You are nobody," and she even believed that Courtney Burgess was planted with this information on purpose to basically get the feds to turn their eye off of other people that are allegedly going to go down with Diddy. And the person that she called out was Jay-Z and the Carters. And then Courtney Burgess started acting really strange and multiple different times threw up these triangles while she was saying stuff like this. He did it about 5 different times throughout this live, to the point where somebody actually noticed, why does Courtney keep throwing up this triangle? And everyone thought this was super weird that Courtney Burgess kept throwing up this triangle sign at Jaguar Wright after she kept saying that you were planted with this information, and it probably came from Jay-Z. We all know that Jay-Z has been known over the years to throw up the same triangle hand symbols. Jaguar Wright believes that Jay-Z is the one behind this because Courtney Burgess said that Jay-Z would never be involved in any of this, and he never saw him on any videotapes, and he would never do anything with Beyonce with another person.